Adelle Onyango made an appearance on The Moth where she shared, Christmas traditions and how her life, has evolved, from that, tradition. She starts by saying or talking about how, Christmas traditions were something they used to do, were things they used to do with her late mother. And when her mother passed away, it was very important for her to carry on said traditions. And even when she met, her husband or her husband at the time, she was very adamant that Christmas traditions will be at mines always,
Celebrations.
okay? And even as the relationship was very new, she had really made it clear on where she stood about a lot of things. She did not want children. She was very loud about, her feminism. People identified her and, the cause with her, especially given the times when she was a radio personality or a media personality. She championed a lot of these causes. And she said her personal life really clashed with her married life. And they were married and for, close to 3 years. And on the third year, that's when she realized, honestly, she could not do this anymore. Because after one of their many arguments, the husband said, "You've refused to give me a child. You have refused to carry my surname, and you have refused to wear, and you've stopped wearing the wedding ring. So at this point, you've denied me everything, or pretty much everything that comes with a marriage. What do you want?" And very exhausted from all of this, she simply said, "I cannot do this anymore." And they started divorce, which was not a pretty affair. She had to get lawyers. It dragged on for a hot minute. And yeah, so obviously hearing this, people have been trying to paint her as the bad girl, but I have a different opinion, which is she was very loud about her the things she wanted. She was very loud about the things that were expected over her, or the things that she would provide, or her brick, Anyway, so for him to switch up 3 years into the marriage and start complaining or talking about, "Oh, you don't want to have children with me," or "You don't want to carry my surname," obviously these are things you have talked about and have made my position very clear. So for you to switch up, I'm just like, what are we doing? It is very unfair. I mean, I get his perspective, maybe thinking she's going to change her mind. We're going to get married. Obviously, at some point, she'll see our mutual friends are having children. She'll want children at some point. Yeah, so it's crazy when people switch up on you like down the line.
I think for me, the one conversation that I had to have before I got married were what are my non-negotiables and what are your non-negotiables? Because oftentimes we get into marriage and we're telling each other or telling ourselves that no, they'll change. Their stance will change. As we grow together, they will understand where I'm coming from and they will change their mind. Like the potential that we are trying to be attracted to, or you love someone, but there's just a few things about them that you just like, on these we do not agree. One thing that is a complete non-negotiable is whether or not we are having children. Oh, child, you need to be very, very clear on these things. It's not like, okay, let's see as we go how things go. A person who tells you, let's see as it goes how things go, is not ready to have children. You probably need to be aware of that information. Another very huge thing is religion, right? A lot of people tend to have very complicated perspectives when it comes to what I believe in, what I choose to believe in. And you assume that your partner will change. They will either become Christian, they will become Muslim, and so on and so forth. But another major thing that people tend to also forego and forelook or overlook is just your opinions on politics. Because let's be entirely honest, if you are Team Ruto and me over here, I am Team Raila, and we are both in the same household, I promise you, we are going to bicker, right? Because I am very, very much a person who believes in this one leader over this other leader because of very specific reasons, and vice versa. So where do you see yourself sitting down with this person and having a conversation about it, which is not passionate, especially because most of these things come up when you're in argument. Most of these extreme opinions that you have about this other thing usually come up when you're in argument. You're never just going to be sitting down and you're like, hey, by the way, unafaa kukuwa team Raila hata wewe ama unafaa kuwa team Ruto pia wewe. It's never during that time. It's always in the heat of an argument where you don't even believe in what I believe in. You're not even Christian. Even you do your da. Your family did what X Y Z. All of these things come up in argument, never when you're sober or level-headed, right? So I think it's very important for you to be very clear about your non-negotiables. Be absolutely honest with this person about these things, because ultimately it will end the same way. I have very few instances have I seen where people have ended up in like, okay, fine, let's compromise. Someone always feels slighted and it keeps being brought up as the relationship goes by. So I feel bad for her for making these decisions herself, or even not realizing how much of a particular person that she was, and feeling like, okay, maybe this guy will change as well, because it's a mutual thing. You yourself are like, they'll just look at my views and understand where I'm coming from. I hope they understand where I'm coming from over time, but they don't. And your partner is like, hey, look, these are just 3 very important things that I've asked of you. Please, let's have a conversation about children. Please wear the wedding ring that I worked so hard to get and get engaged and in front of God and man propose to you and get married to you in. And lastly, can you please just take my surname? These are non-negotiables for one person, but the other person overlooked. And now here they are in the same place. I don't blame either of them. I am sad, however, that they had to find this out the hard, tough way. So for you at home, please be mindful of those things. If you have non-negotiables, talk about them, be clear on them, and then see the way forward from there. Otherwise, you will end up in the same place. But she seems happy. She seems whole. She's talking about this with like a bigger light around it, as opposed to like sadness about it. So